As we come to Johann Sebastian Bach, and we're talking about the main composers of the Baroque period, Bach could be looked at like the Michael Jordan of his day. He is just such an amazing musician that, 400 years from his death, we're still worshiping this guy and trying to find all the amazing things that can be found from studying him. He's probably one of the most gifted composers to use the major-minor tonal system. He was one of the best at writing counterpoint. He was amazing at vocal music, choir music, instrumental music, even orchestral music. He is just pretty much great at everything that Bach did. And we're going to study a little bit of his work tomorrow, so I don't really think I need to go too greatly in depth today. But I'll give you a hint that anytime someone asks you something about Bach and they place him in a negative light, they are full of crap. If Bach had been around to play bebop with Charlie Parker in the modern jazz age, he probably would have kicked his butt too. He was just great at all things musical, and has, at least this later in history, we have no known real weaknesses of him, except perhaps one, and that is a quick life story. When he was a little kid, he used to sneak the family music books through a little, how shall you put it, his brother created a little shelf type thing that you couldn't get them through without really working and bending and sneaking them through, because his brother was jealous of Bach's ability. So Bach would steal this book at night, copy the music by moonlight, and then get it back. And that actually hurt Bach's eyesight, and for much of his life he had really poor eyesight. And that's about the only thing you're going to find wrong with Bach. Other than that, he was like Superman or something. Handel's our other guy who we can put in the same league as Bach from the Baroque period. But they had very different lifestyles. Bach was from a not so wealthy family and had to steal his music by moonlight to study, where Handel had a fairly rich family, and he was born in Germany. He did study mostly Italian opera and mastered Italian opera in Italy. He didn't really get that well known until he moved to England, and he spent 50 years of his life in England. But during that time he was rather famous, where if we go back to Bach, Bach really wasn't known all that well during his life. It's more after, I can't remember the exact date, but there was quite a period there where Bach's music was not really thought of as much as anything. Handel was pretty famous and pretty high profile guy. He wrote in most every style, but his most lasting fame was as a composer of oratorios, and his best known one is The Messiah. He also wrote a lot of opera, and he wrote some beautiful instrumental music. Any of you who've ever gone to Epcot and seen the fireworks at night, the fireworks are taking place to the music for the Royal Fireworks by Handel. Beautiful composition. Maybe we can get that one on. Maybe I can find a little Disney stuff and stick it in there. Under other notable composers of the Baroque period, we have Corelli, who was a violin virtuoso known for development of modern violin techniques. Couperin was an important French composer of harpsichord music and chamber music, and the author of an alternative method book on playing the harpsichord. Jacques de la Guerre was an immensely successful French composer and harpsichordist whose work is popular today, particularly for her harpsichord works and cantatas. Purcell was an English composer, and he's primarily known for Dido and Aeneas, which was one of the pieces I'm going to make you listen to a bit tomorrow. Vivaldi is a celebrated Italian composer, probably the most celebrated Italian composer. Wrote operas, oratorios, church music. Telemann, prolific German composer of church music, masses, motets, oratorios, and more than 1,000 cantatas. He also wrote operas, keyboard pieces, and instrumental pieces. Now, one name that's not in this slide that's important is Monteverde. Claudio Monteverde is a composer who was living during the Baroque era, but he's mostly known for writing madrigals, which is more of a Renaissance type of composition. So he's sort of hard to place. He was very innovative for his later madrigals, but though he is stated as a Baroque period composer, the music he wrote was more Renaissance in nature.